It's been a while. I did a short video showing that I was working on the car again, got the fender aprons installed. Still working on that, but I wanted to show you where I'm at, and I wanted to kind of share a little bit of the progress with you guys. So not going to be a super long video, but we're working on filling the void left after we got the aprons in, and also kind of evening out some of the lines. Already did the passenger side. It's not completely done, so there's still some like fine tuning to do. It's welded in though, and then I will show you the process on the driver's side. So come on in, take a look, and I'll show you what I'm working with. All right, so we're gonna go from this. See the large gap on this side here, and then you have the void on the top where the fender sits. We're gonna start with that, and we're gonna get towards something like this. Nice and tight around the delete panel. Clean enough. There will be seam sealer, so the edges are gonna look halfway decent. Spot welded in, stitched to the surrounding panels, and it fills the void here. There's still some fine tuning work to do. You can see I still got to finesse this edge here, and I still got to smooth out the rest of the panel. But after everything's smooth, a little bit of body filler, a little bit of paint, it's just going to be one nice smooth panel. I think it's going to look pretty good when it's all done. So first things first, we need to make a template for what we're trying to fill here. So I'm going to grab some cardstock and some masking tape, and we're going to make a template. Okay, so I have my crafting supplies. I have no idea how much of my face you can actually see, but that's okay. What you need to see is what I'm working on. So I have some cardstock, pair of scissors, roll of masking tape, and I have a nice cup of coffee. I might have to attempt this a couple times to get the fitment the way I want it. And we'll make a paper shape of what we're trying to get out of the sheet metal, and I'll cut it a little bit big. I'll trim it back so it fits nice and flat with no crazy warps to it or bends or flexes. And then I'll do just a 90-degree bend here, bring it out, a little 90-degree bend on the far side out here, and that will be the shape. Then it's just drill some holes for some spot welds across the top and the side, stitch weld, and a little bit of filler because I'm not perfect, and a little bit of paint. Be nice and smooth, and everything's gonna look fantastic. One thing I am missing is my Sharpie. I need a Sharpie. I know I have a Sharpie somewhere. I found it. All right. It's a little bit tricky. I'm working over the edge here because I kind of want you to see. But we're just gonna do some rough cuts first and trim. So I kind of want this piece to come and hug this shape here as much as I can. So I need enough paper to come all the way across the edge, and then also down far enough. Probably gonna stop it just down here. Be kind of a sharp transition, but that's okay. So we're just gonna do something like this. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect the first time around. All I'm doing is getting a rough shape on the inside line here. And I'll just take a pair of scissors, cut the inside of my black line. Probably a better way to do this, but I'm still learning. I'm still figuring out what works for me. Just like there might be a different method that works better for you. Thinner paper, I've heard, is helpful. Some people like thicker paper. It's really a lot of its preference. And as long as you're happy with the results at the end, it doesn't really matter. So, I got this edge cut. I could probably cut out most of the excess here in the center because I know I'm not going to use a lot of it. So that's probably what I'm going to do next. Just cut this portion out. So something like that. And then what I can do, I can press down on this edge with my thumb, and that'll give me kind of this dirty line that I can cut, and that'll get me up to the edge here. Take your time, and if you mess it up, it's okay. It's just paper. It grows on trees. Some environmentalist is not going to like that comment. That's okay. Right, so that goes right up to the edge, like so. That's pretty good. I'm not upset with that. So now I need to worry about this curve here. So I'm gonna just go slow with it, figure out where I need to cut. And I just dropped my Sharpie. If you hear panting, that's my dog. She's just hanging out with me. She can be a little needy, but she's also the shop foreman, so she gives the final say-so on everything that I do with this car. Sometimes she doesn't like what I do. Sometimes she does. So again, just a little mark with the Sharpie. And you can kind of see what I'm looking for here. So I'll do the same thing over here. I'll just mark this one with my thumb. Get that little cut. And that pretty much handles this piece. In order to see, there's a couple areas that I can trim back a little bit here. Now what I can do is I'll take some masking tape and I'll just tape this in place for now so it doesn't move. And I can add little pieces to bring like this edge down, another piece for the top plate. I'll probably make this template out of 3 or 4 pieces of paper, but they'll be connected with each other at the end, and then it'll all be traced out onto one piece of sheet metal. All right, first part of the template is done. Now you can already kind of get the idea as to where I'm going with this. I'm just going to piece it together like a little puzzle, just like crafting, and you're making pieces. So make it out of paper, lay it out on some sheet metal, cut it out, cut it a little bit bigger than the piece you actually need, slowly trim it in until you reach the fit that you like and you want, and then you'll go from there. So I'm going to finish this up. Next time you'll see me, I'll be tracing this out on a piece of sheet metal. I'm going to cut it out, and we'll start doing the fine tuning and fitting so this goes the way we want it to. All right, so I have a piece of sheet metal. I have my template on there. Looking for Sharpie. So hold this down nice and flat. Again, this isn't, oh, my Sharpie's not wanting, there, doesn't want to do it. Oh, there we go. This is just a template. It's not perfect. What I realized about myself is if I'm looking for perfection, this car will never be done. And it's been five years now, almost 6. Oh. I'm past the point of perfection. Now I just want my car back. So I'm gonna move over there. Template's marked down. I made a trip to the Hobo Freight. No, I'm not sponsored. But as you can see, I buy a lot of my tools from there. It's cheap and they work. If I have anybody from like Canada, your equivalent would be like Princess Auto, I think is what it's called. But good tools for a decent price. You can pay for your warranties, or you can be like me and be like, it's cheap, probably not gonna last forever. But this is a set of power shears. I've been cutting all of my panels with the grinder, and honestly, kind of a pain in the butt. This is kind of heavy, but I tested it once and it seems to cut well. All right, so I have no idea how much time has passed because I got sick and took a break, and I'm just now getting back to the car. So it's been a couple weeks since the last recording. Anyway, we left off, we had trimmed or began trimming to fit this panel for this block off plate here to kind of fill this void. Now I continue to trim it off camera, basically just taking a little bit off at a time, fitting it a little bit more, fitting it until I was satisfied. There's gonna be a few little gaps, but I'm not overly concerned. But now you're probably wondering, how am I going to take this and make it break 90 degrees? So what I plan to do is hopefully hold this in a position that allows me to get a couple marks. I don't know where my vice grip is, but I should be able to do this with one. That's too tight. Basically, clamp oh so gingerly for now one side. Excuse me. Basically get it to hold where I want it to be, which is roughly there. Sharpie. And I'm just going to mark where the mark or the bend belongs. No, this isn't super accurate. It's gonna work for me. Got my marks, got a straight edge. And I'm going to mark a straight line across. Now that is where I need this break to happen. So now we're gonna go over to the vise. Basically, I am going to clamp this in. Okay, I got it clamped in the vise. Grab myself a little body hammer. We're just gonna tap it over, nice and easy. And then I'll adjust it over. Same thing. I'll work this back and forth until I get it bent all the way. there you have it. One sharp bend. Probably too sharp, but beggars can't be choosers. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, so now I have my bend. I can slide this into place. And it should be pretty close to where I need it to be. i.e., so now I can trim it some more and get that top plate to actually match up. Hitting right there. There we go. Beautiful. All right. I'm gonna hold this while I show you, but we've got pretty good gap, nice and tight, all the way down the side. Not perfect, but good enough. Nice little contour around. Same thing here, good gap. Now, what I have to do is drill plug welds all the way around that perimeter. And we're gonna do that tomorrow. Because it's getting late, I gotta work in the morning. And so, like looking down at me, or looking up at me, it's weird. So, tomorrow, drill the spot welds, get all that prepped, get the surface prepped, get where the butt welds are gonna be together, get all that prepped, and then we'll actually weld this thing in for good. And then it'll be a little bit of filler to kind of get rid of the little wows, clean everything up, spray paint, and engine compartment will be done. It's only taken 4 months for me to do this. Doing great. See you in the morning, or I guess I'll see you tomorrow afternoon. Can you hear me now? All right. So, got all my holes drilled. Used the chamfering bit to clean up all the burrs. So that'll be welded in there. But first, gotta get rid of all of this surface rust. So I'm just gonna use the DA. I guess I could use a flap disc if I wanted to. But I'm gonna go for a less aggressive approach at first and then see what happens. So we're gonna do that real quick. All right, so I have it all cleaned up, ready to butt weld. And I got my spot welds all cut out. The fit is almost perfect. Slight gap in here, nice and tight here. It's not moving anywhere, so I'm gonna throw a couple tacks in and then just start working all the spot welds and everything so we can get this thing welded up and done. And that's gonna finish the engine compartment minus, you know, cutting down, painting, doing a little bit of body filler and actually like smoothing everything out. But for now, just need to get this welded in so it's all one piece. And I have some other things underneath the car I need to do that I probably won't film just for the sake of not boring you to death. And we'll get this thing buttoned up. Alrighty. Got it welded up the side. The little spot welds are in. All the way up to the top. I'm gonna grind these welds down, fill in any voids that I left, and then I gotta break this last edge. Probably trim it because this is really long. I'm gonna trim it first and then break it. But yeah, so this is pretty much welded in. We'll get it all finished up and smoothed out, and we'll call it a wraps. All right, it's not perfect, but it's in. I think it looks pretty good. I am satisfied. Probably use a little bit of body filler, level everything out, probably hand sand it with a little block, and then the edge will actually get seam sealer all the way around, so you'll see a nice uniform bead. And then up here, I trimmed it and then broke this into 90-ish. It matches up pretty good. No, I'm not a professional. You'll see my weld seams. The fit wasn't exactly perfect. This side was low, this side was high. But now I have one continuous fender apron on both sides. I can get the rest of these spot welds ground down and smooth on both sides, and then finish out the engine compartment in preparation for something to go in here. There you have it. I got fender aprons again. And the patches are in. Everything looks good. There's a mosquito eater behind me. Anyway, this is progress. I haven't been working on this car in a long time, so I'm kind of happy that I was able to get down and work on it for a bit. Still have a bunch of little things underneath the car to take care of before I drop it back off engine stands. I'm not gonna film it because it's just a bunch of little plug welds that I may or may not have forgotten to do last time I was under there, which was like 2 years ago. So if you stay tuned, the next thing that I'm probably going to be working on is putting all the body panels back on the car and starting the process of blocking skim coat and blocking the car, which is going to be a ton of work. So stick with me, and maybe springtime this thing will be on the road ready for paint or something, unless I decide to do other things in the meantime. We'll find out. Stay tuned. Who knows what happens next? Have a good one.